Does the idea of meeting and talking to other people scare you when you go to a party? Or does it even make you think that you will speak or present in front of the mass? If so, you are not alone. Akindele Michael was a shy boy. He spent most of his time in Nigeria at his family home. Her parents were not shy at all. Akindele attributes her own shyness to the growth of the house in a sheltered environment. So is it really so? This is partially true, according to Thalia Eley, a developmental behavioral genetic professor at King's College in London. Shyness is like a feature about mood and a harbinger of personality. When young children start communicating with other people, we see that they have different levels of comfort when talking to an adult they don't know, he says. Eley says that shyness is only 30% related to genetics, and the rest is due to environmental influences. Research on the role of genetics in shyness is done with identical twins who are genetic copies of each other. According to Eley, environmental factors are more important in the development of such features. One of the interesting things about genetics is that it pushes us in the direction we are prone to environmental factors. For example, a shy child may be more inclined to watch them instead of playing with other children in the playground. With the proliferation of such experiences, the child can become more comfortable when he is on his own. In fact, there is no such thing as one or the other. Genes and the environment are effective in working together, says Eley. This is a dynamic system and therefore it is always possible to replace it with psychological therapies. So shyness is a bad thing? According to Chloe Foster, who works as a clinical psychologist at the Anxiety Disorders and Trauma Center in London, shyness is quite common and normal. It is not another problem unless it causes social concerns. When people start to avoid many things they have to do, Foster says, they want to be treated. These can be situations such as not having a proper dialogue with colleagues, socialization difficulties, or feeling like they will be judged by others. Evolutionary causes. According to Eley, evolutionary reasons may lie behind the development of the shyness feature in humans. It may be helpful for people in your group to explore outside and communicate with new groups, as well. For example, there is a need for people who avoid risks and who will stay indoors and do their job better. She says that the most effective treatment for people who are shy and socially concerned is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. In this treatment, the person's thoughts and behavior patterns are tried to be changed. CBT helps identify such negative thoughts and certain behaviors that we think will benefit. Preparing for what you are saying or avoiding eye contact can cause more anxiety in humans. How can worries be resolved? For people who have a problem with shyness, such as speaking to the audience because of shyness, the main problem is that they often set themselves a high standard for performance. However, if we relax and give ourselves a chance to take a breath or two, it emphasizes that this anxiety will be alleviated. It will also be beneficial for the person to try to focus on what is happening around him rather than the annoyance he has experienced due to his anxiety. Concentrating on the audience, not on ourselves, can help to overcome the fear that we will choose the words we will use incorrectly. It is necessary to look at the socializing environments with a new approach. We can ask ourselves what we fear most in these environments. Are we afraid of being seen as a boring person or not finding something to say? The more you know about that anxiety, the better we can be to challenge it. Shyness and introversion are not the same thing. Jesse Sun, a PhD in personality psychology at the University of California, Davis, says shyness and introversion are not the same. People often see introversion, introspection, or an interest in exploring thoughts. However, psychologists describe it as a different character trait known as being open to new experiences. Shy people are often introverted, but they may also be extrovert people who find it difficult to socialize because of their anxiety. Those who are not shy introverted may also be socially skilled, but prefer to be alone. According to Sun, personality traits are one of the strongest indicators in terms of happiness, and there is a strong link between extroversion and human well-being. Extroverted people experience more excitement, enthusiasm and joy, while introverted people experience these emotions less, Sun says. Well, if introverted people try to act extroverted, can they experience the same emotions of joy and joy? In a one-week experiment by Sun, participants were asked to act more extroverted, talkative, active, brave and persistent than they normally would, and those who were already extroverted experienced more positive and authentic feelings, while those who were introverted did not increase their positive feelings. Fatigue and more negative emotions were the predominantly introverted things. It would be a bit much to expect introverted or shy people to behave so differently for a week, but it might be helpful to do so for shorter periods of time, Sun says. The influence of culture. So, while environmental factors are important in determining whether a person is shy or not, does culture have an impact on the happiness of introverted people? In the USA, the idea that self-confident, extroverted behavior values more than the introverted feature is widespread. However, in Asian countries, including Japan and China, quiet and introverted people are more desirable. Attitude towards eye contact also varies from country to country. While positive contact is attributed to eye contact in the West, it can be considered as disrespect and challenge in other cultures such as Asia and Africa. Despite these cultural differences, Sun points out research that reveals that extroverted people are happier everywhere. However, being introverted is not seen as a negative feature in itself. Susan Cain, author of the book Silence: The Power of Inner Spirits in a Continuously Spoken World, says, "Do not think that introversion is something to be treated. There is not a slight connection between being the best speaker and having the best ideas.